Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here today. My name is Denise. I'm also known as heywigsister on Instagram and Facebook. Today I'm here to bring you a wig review in partnership with Name Brand Wigs. We are working together on a review of Rene of Paris Carson, brand new for 2022. And this is in the color Shaded Amber. Brand new color as well. So we have a new style and a new color. This is Carson. If you want to know more about her, stick around. Rene of Paris has launched a number of new wigs here in 2022 and a couple of new colors as well. Carson is one of those new styles, and as you can see, Carson is a kind of trendy cut bob. Straight bob, kind of chin, a little below chin length, really cute. Before we talk about Carson, I'd like to remind you that Name Brand Wigs is an online retailer that I have partnered with in the past. They are one of my trusted resources and a great place to purchase wigs and get support. They have a great customer service team, they have a blog, they have education on their website, they offer great prices, they have regular sales, they have a clearance section, just a really good overall resource for you if you're looking for a good place to purchase wigs. They've been around for a long time. They are here in Minnesota, so they're a company here in the same state that I live in, and they've been wonderful to work with. So if you're looking for a wig or you need some help and support, please reach out to them. You can go to their website, you can send them an email, you can call them. There's lots of ways to get a hold of them. I'm very grateful to them. They did send me Carson so that I could review her for you guys, and that is such a blessing to us because it allows us to see a lot more wigs. So I'm really thankful to Name Brand Wigs. And if you have a moment, you sure could shoot them an email and thank them for working with reviewers. I'll put the email up on the screen, and that would be wonderful. All right, let's talk about Carson. First of all, let's look at her from all sides. Make sure you got a good look at her. This is a very kind of flattering bob, but it has just some different twists to it. So instead of being just a rounded bob or an A-line bob or an all one length bob, Carson has some fun extra at the bottom. Little bit of flippies. They're not super flippy, and it sort of depends on how you play with her and if you were to put product in her or anything like that. But the ends just have a little bit of extra length. There you go. See how they can flip out? They don't want to flip out extreme on their own. You do have to play with it, but it just gives it a little extra something, which I think is so adorable and different. I know that some people don't like that. They want their bobs to be just basic, kind of normal cut, maybe just a little bit of a slight A-line so it's a little longer in the front. But sometimes we just want something a little different, a little more trendy, on trend, or something fun for fun times, you know, going out with friends and date night and things like that. Carson has all of those fun little features in these ends. Carson does have a lace front and a monofilament. She also has quite a bit of permatease. So I want to caution my wig sisters who worry about volume, who worry about too much permatease overwhelming them a little bit. There is quite a bit of permatease all in here, right? Especially in here. This is some poofy, pillowy permatease. And what this does is it really gives this one a round look and some good lift on the sides. There is also permatease on the top here. So we've got a moderate to heavy coating of permatease all the way down to the ear tabs. And then in the back here, there's a little bit of permatease. There's actually more permatease right here than there is back here. I can feel just a light coating of permatease back here, but more of the heavy stuff is all right in here. And what that will allow you to do is it'll allow you to get your hands in there and get a little bit of lift, and you can kind of pick up those fibers and get a little bit of lift in them, and that gives it a much rounder appearance. It doesn't appear flat and lifeless. And so what that does is it allows you, if you were to tuck and then fluff it out, so it doesn't look so flat. You can definitely play around with that style. If you were to add product to it, maybe some trestle or wig wax or products that give some wigs some lift. Sometimes dry shampoo could do that. I think you could get quite a lot of volume out of this one. You can tuck her. I would say that the difficulty in tucking this one is all the permatease here. There's so much permatease on the sides, especially by the ear tabs. It just makes it a little bit hard to tuck. It is tuckable. You can absolutely do it. It's just not as quick of and easy of an ear tuck because of all that permatease. This wig also has a lace front, and I'll show that to you, and I want you to note that there is visible knotting because this is a dark rooted color. I would say that for Rene of Paris, normally you can see more knotting in the darker colors than you can with some other brands like Ellen Villa, like Raquel Welch. They use just a little bit of a bigger knot, I would say, which makes those knots a little bit more visible. Part of the reason for that is this is more of a kind of a fashion line, and so they do use a lot of really fun, bold colors, a lot of dark rooting, and that can be sometimes hard to disguise. Another reason is the fibers are nice and substantial. These are not light, airy, wispy fibers. They have a nice density and weight to them, and there are some real pros to that. One of them is it makes the fibers really hardy. I would say these fibers run along the same lines as Noriko fibers. Very thick, substantial, hardy. I think they'll be workhorse fibers. I don't think that they're going to show wear and tear as quickly as some of the more delicate fibers and some of the other lines will, and I think that's a real benefit. I also think for a sleek style like this, using those thicker, hardier fibers actually helps the style to kind of manifest itself. So it looks so sleek and beautiful. And if they were light, airy fibers, a lot lower denier, it would look less kind of sleek and maybe just a little bit more like you had more flyaways, more wispy. Nothing wrong with that. Everybody is looking for something a little different, and so that is fine for some wigs, and you may be looking for that in some wigs, and then in others you really want more of that sleek, polished look, and that's what fibers like this will give you. But when you get those thicker denier fibers, you sometimes get a little bit of a thicker knot, and that's what you're seeing when you can see the knotting. It's really actually not that difficult to disguise. I do have a Tip Tuesday where I show how you can pluck a few of the hairs if you feel that the hairline is too dense, and then you can use makeup, you can use powder, you can use foundation to just dab on some of those, and it will blur them and hide them a little bit. So something to keep in mind. Let's take a look at this cap. So we've got a lace front and a left mono part. So you've got your mono part left going to the right, the typical mono part. And you get a lot of space here for this lace front. So it's really a thick lace front. You get a really good substantial amount of room for that mono part, which actually allows you to part it a little deeper or a little more narrow toward the center. It does give you more parting space than you sometimes see on a mono part wig. The challenge with this one is the density is really high on the top. They've really densely knotted it. It's hard to see that part. I personally find that often in Rene of Paris wigs, and my solution is to pluck the part line. When I finally find where I want that part to be, I like to pluck it a little bit. That opens up that part so you can see it a little bit more. It also helps the fibers to lay a little bit more organized from one side to the other. I did struggle to get these, find a part line that kind of made sense because it's so densely knotted. You've got your velvet ear tabs with tons of hair sewn into them, which is also what adds to a little bit of the challenge with tucking, because you got a lot of permatease and a lot of fiber. You don't have an extended nape, and you have the pull adjusters. This one runs, I would say, true to average, a little bit snug on the circumference. So I have a 22-inch circumference. I have the adjusters let all the way out. I wouldn't cinch these in even a little bit at 22 inches. So if you are larger than 22 inches, there's a little bit of stretch, so that's good news, but I'm finding it to be kind of the perfect snugness at 22 inches. So 22 and a quarter, if you're used to wigs being a little snug around your head, I think that's okay. 22 and a half, we're starting to run the risk, it does have some stretch of it being quite snug on you. But even though it's got, you know, kind of right perfect at 22 inches, I get a lot of cap up here. A ton of extra cap up here. So you can be quite a bit bigger than me over the top of your head and still fit this. So look at the description underneath this video. You will find all of my measurements. If you scroll down a little ways, compare them to yours. If you've got a 22 or a 22 and a quarter circumference, I think this will be fine. You can be quite a bit bigger than me over the top of your head and still be fine. I really have a ton of cap up here. So if you are more petite over the top of your head, just keep in mind this does have a lot of cap on the top. But because this has a lot of permatease and it already sort of has that voluminous rounded look, I'm not sensing that that extra cap is really that much of a problem unless it's a comfort issue for you. It isn't for me. Usually when a cap is way too big for me over the top of my head, you can kind of see it. I get sort of a cone head effect. I'm not really getting that with this one because it's rounded with all that permatease. Yeah, the fibers feel awesome. They're so silky and soft. It definitely looks realistic. I would say, you know, there's a tiny bit of shine to this. You can definitely tamp that down with dry shampoo, or just wearing it will wear off that silicone coating that can cause the shine. I am not finding this to be too shiny for my comfort, but I have a feeling that some people might, because I know I have wig sisters who are very sensitive to shine. Do you notice as I'm talking and I'm tucking and how she just lays so cute? I have a mirror over here and I really like what they've done here. I just think it's just sassy and cute. You can absolutely, you know, put clips up and, you know, clip some of this front up. That is the other thing about this piece. It's really heavy in the front. It's getting better as I'm playing with it. So these fibers are training away from my face really nicely with just the heat of my hands and constantly playing with it. But for the first, you know, 15-20 minutes I had her on that I was playing around and trying to get to know her a little bit, I was really struggling to keep these fibers out of my face. She definitely wants to hang in the face. It's very heavy up here. Lots and lots of hair. This is a moderate to high density piece, amount of hair for the length of this, and for it being kind of a shorter bob, it has a lot of hair. So I can see some people potentially wanting to thin her. I can absolutely see some people wanting to take some steam to the front here just to give it a little bit of lift, which you can do because of the lace front, but just to pick up some of these fibers because they really are heavy down in the face. A solution would be to cut bangs. You can absolutely cut bangs into this one. You can see it lays great. So there's not so much, you know, not a lot of lift in the front, which can sometimes be a challenge with bangs. And then you have to do steam or something to flatten them a little. This doesn't have that. At least this piece doesn't. So you can cut bangs into this one, no problem. That lace front is a little bit narrow. So it really is only here to, let me fill this side. Yeah, it's only like here to here. So you're not getting a lot of real estate as far as doing a lot of like pulling it back. You're going to want to be careful that you're not going past that lace front and keeping some hair down. But there is definitely styling potential with this one if you want to use clips and bobby pins. And again, like I said, tucking is absolutely possible. It's just, you know, working around that permatease, but I'm managing it, so I think you'll be able to manage it as well. The coverage on me is, let's get her all situated now that I've tucked her about 1,000,000 times and played around with these fibers like crazy. So the coverage on me is really good. You really can't see a whole lot of my bio hair here. So the cap is, I mean, it's definitely fitting me well. It's fitting me snug on the circumference, but it's giving me some real security as well, which I really appreciate. This is what she looked like out of the box. I didn't have to do anything to her. Combed through her, I shook her out a little bit. That is all I did. So I'm not putting it out of the box on the end because it's nothing, we're really not going to see anything that you're not seeing here. I will, however, get the color, outside color on the end. So let's start to talk about color now that I've really covered this wig. This color, shaded amber, look at that red. It is a beautiful, vibrant red. And it has a dark root, which I think really kind of works with this color, and it's not a long root. So while it's a dark root, it isn't overwhelming. And in the front here, it's not very long. It's really kind of more of a shadow. It looks really, really good. So as I pull this off and talk about this, this is absolutely a coppery red. It is a very bright red. There's multiple red tones in here. Hopefully you can see that. I see like a deeper auburn, darker kind of auburn red. I see an Irish red. I see copper. It's blended yet dynamic. It's not stripy, but you can absolutely see separation between some of those tones. And then you've got a dark root that is, I think, really great. It's quite dark. I would say that's probably a 4, but it's not long. You know, there's quite a bit of it at the crown, which really, because it's on the top of your head, is more like a shadow. And then the rest of it is just kind of short. It adds depth and dimension. It helps my darker brunettes maybe to feel more comfortable in a color like this, but it's not overwhelming. It doesn't look harsh. It doesn't look like you skipped a session at the salon. I think it looks really, really natural. Put her back on one more time, and then I'm going to get outside so you can see this color outside. So bottom line, Carson is super fun, super cute, kind of an on-trend type of a bob. Lots of hair, lots of permatease, heavy in the front. So, you know, just keep those things in mind. If you get her and you get overwhelmed by hair, or you don't like a lot of hair hanging in your face, you're going to have your work cut out for you. Either you're going to wear her tucked all the time, which, you know, you can just shove a little bobby pin in there, and then that will keep her in place all day. So tuck her up. Maybe put a bobby pin in there, and then she's out of your face and it's no issue. And then as far as whether she'll be cool in the summer, I know that's a question that comes up a lot. She has a lot of permatease. So if you tend to run really hot, I think her length is in your favor. There's a lot of permatease. There's quite a bit of insulation up there. So I don't know. She could be a little warm. I know for me personally, I like a little lower density, lower permatease in the summer just to help get some ventilation in there. All right, guys, let's get outside so we can see this color outside. Thank you once again to Name Brand Wigs for sending me Carson. I am actually getting another style in this new line. It's on back order right now, but I think it's going to be a great sister style to this one. I think it's Tara, if I'm not remembering incorrectly. And I think it's got a little bit of a wave, but it's sort of a similar length. So I can't wait to get that one. And if my suspicions are right, look for me to do a sister style comparison with this one. So if you do like Carson, you could get Tara as well, and then have a straight and a wavy, and you can change it up. All right, let's get outside. All right, everyone. It's so bright out here. I apologize for the super squinting, but here we are with shaded amber outside. We have got bright sunlight that is filtered with very thin high clouds, kind of the perfect outdoor lighting for this. I'll get in front of the white garage door as well, so you can see that beautiful color. Hopefully I got it good in the frame. Look at that rooting. walk over here. It's actually not too bad out here today. I can hear the snow is melting. I cannot wait for it to warm up. There you guys go. Hopefully that is a good look at this super vibrant color. If you love reds, this is a fun one. The rooting is great too. Make sure you got every angle possible. All right, there you guys go. Thanks for watching.